Once upon a time, there lived a young man named Arjun. At just 18, he was the sole owner of a humble roadside chai stand. Every day was a ritual. Wake before the sun, light the small charcoal stove, fill the pots with water and milk, and wait for the morning rush. He didn't make much money, often clearing less than 100 rupees a day, but his genuine, bright smile was famous throughout the area. Arjun had a big dream. He pictured a real shop. Not a stand, but a cafe with wooden tables, soft lighting, and a grand sign bearing his name in bold letters. But that dream felt impossible. He had no savings, no investors, and only his daily earnings. Still, he worked hard, his hope brewing alongside his tea. One bitterly cold morning, the fog hung thick and damp. An old man appeared, walking slowly and stiffly. He wore torn, thin clothes and looked like he had walked for days. He sat heavily on the worn wooden bench near Arjun's stand, his eyes vacant and defeated. Arjun approached him gently. "Tea for you, Baba?" The old man barely managed to speak. "I have nothing. I lost my way and my money. I haven't eaten since yesterday." Arjun did not pause or question. He poured a steaming cup of hot milky tea, cut a fresh, crusty loaf of bread in half, and placed them in the old man's trembling hands. "Please take it," Arjun said, his voice quiet. "A kind heart is not measured by the size of the bag you carry." The old man looked at the tea, then up at Arjun. His eyes, though tired, seemed to sparkle with gratitude. He took a slow, deep sip, and a visible warmth returned to his face. "Thank you, son," he said, finishing the meal. "You saved me today. I am Ram." He stood, gave a respectful nod, and walked slowly down the road, vanishing into the fog. Arjun never expected to see him again. 5 years passed. Arjun was 23 now. He still sold tea, and his life hadn't changed much. He managed to save a little, but the big shop remained a distant fantasy. He had learned one lesson deeply. Life was hard, but humanity didn't have to be. He never stopped giving away free meals to those in greater need than himself. One evening, a formal letter arrived at his humble home. It was thick, written on expensive paper, and smelled faintly of expensive cologne. It was addressed to him and invited him to a business meeting in the city. There was no sender's name, just the imposing address of a large corporate building. Confused but curious, Arjun borrowed money for the bus fare and traveled to the noisy, crowded metropolis. He walked until he saw a towering steel and glass skyscraper. The gold sign on the lobby read, "Ram Industries." He walked inside. Waiting behind a huge, polished wooden desk was a man in a crisp, expensive suit. He looked strong, successful, and kind. He stood up and smiled warmly when he saw Arjun. It was Baba Ram, the old man from the roadside bench. "Do you remember me, Arjun?" The man, now known as Baba Ram, asked, his voice firm and deep. Arjun stared, speechless. "Yes, I remember. Many years ago, you came to my stand. You had no money. I gave you tea." Baba Ram walked around the desk and came closer. "That day, I had lost everything. My fortune, my business, my family's faith. I was cold, hungry, and had decided to end my journey right there on that bench." His voice cracked slightly. "Your tea and bread, Arjun, were not just a meal. They were the strength I needed to keep walking. I found a small opportunity, and I worked day and night for 5 years. I own this company now, and I have been looking for you ever since." Tears welled up in Arjun's eyes. Baba Ram placed a warm hand on Arjun's shoulder. "You gave when you had nothing to spare. Now I will help you open the shop you dreamed of. You gave without asking. Now it is my turn to repay a debt that saved my life." Weeks later, Arjun's dream came true. He opened a large, elegant restaurant in his hometown. The sign bore his name in gold letters, and people traveled from afar to taste his famous heartfelt tea. Arjun never changed. He kept a permanent table reserved for the poor, giving free tea and bread to anyone who couldn't pay. He knew that the kindness he had given away had not been lost. It had simply been traveling the world, waiting for the perfect moment to return and bless him. The moral of this story reminds us that in life, kindness always pays the greatest dividend. Do not measure your generosity by what you can afford, but by the love you put into it. A simple cup of tea, a warm word, or a helping hand are seeds you plant in the world's soil. They may take years to grow, but one day, the blessings you sent out will come walking back to you. That is the true, lasting reward of a giving heart. Music swells and fades.